I'm going to show you how I refill my edible ink cartridges for my edible printer. Well, the printer's not edible, but it prints edible images. What's wrong with me? Hi, it's Karolyn. Welcome back to another video, and if this is your first time here, welcome. And if you want to see the different tips and tricks that I have with cake decorating, that doesn't sound right. If you want to see different cake decorating tips and tricks, then please subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell so you can get notified whenever I post a new video. I have to refill my ink cartridges for my edible printer, and I wanted to show you the process that I do that. So if you want to see how I do that, then just keep on watching. Okay, so depending on the printer that you have, this may be a little different. This is a Canon MX922. So what I did, I turned it on, and I'm going to remove all of the ink cartridges. So now I have a plate with me, and I always use gloves because this ink it stains your hands really well. It really stains your hands. These plastic pieces come with the cartridges, so just take out each one, and you want to have this white pad over where the ink comes out. So the way to get these in, you slide this part up the hook, and then you press down so that none of the ink leaks out. And just do that for all of the cartridges. So these cartridge refill bottles, they just have a lid on it. You take that off, and there's these little needles that you screw on, and you want to make sure that you screw them on the whole way so it's tight. And then this is magenta. You can't really tell because it's a mess, but you want to go to the magenta one, and you don't want to fill it all the way to the top. You can see that there's still some in here. You only want to fill it like 3/4 of the way full. So you remove this little tab, and you want to kind of put it in on an angle. I like to do it. And then slowly fill it up. Not all the way to the top. It's going to absorb in the sponge over here. So, and then place this back on. And then repeat the process for the other one. And I always put paper towels underneath what I'm doing, just because if the ink gets anywhere, it really stains. It's pretty crazy. So the yellow is pretty low. So just repeating the process, removing the tab, squeezing some in, not all the way full, and replacing the tab. So the black one, I didn't have the needle screwed in tight enough, and you could see what happens. It just stinking drips everywhere. And now I'm just going to take these back to the printer. And now I'm just going to reload them into the coordinating. They're labeled here, so the magenta is going to go first. I pull this tab a little out to the side to release, and then slide it out from underneath. And put it in quickly so the ink doesn't leak or anything. And then close it, and you don't want to print right away, so just close it and let the sponge absorb the ink before you start to print. And then you have to rinse everything off before you put it away. So making sure you rinse all of these orange pieces, unscrew all the needles and rinse everything out of that, and make sure everything is clean before you put it away, because this really does stain. I just use really hot water to rinse everything. And everything after that's all rinsed, so you saw I rinsed the bottles and the lids and just everything, just trying to get the excess off, because if you don't rinse the lids, when you put it back on, like, the ink is going to drip out of it and it's just a stinking mess. So did I say that enough times that it's a mess? It really is messy. So just wiping everything down before you put it away. So I just keep the container this little box that the ink came in, and I store it facing up. Like so. I'm gonna store it this way. And then I just have this little Tupperware container where I put these. And I just have another box that I just throw these in. So just storing everything, making sure everything's clean before you put it away. So there you go. There is the process for filling your ink cartridges. There's a couple notes that I have. I wrote them down so I don't forget to say a couple things. When you refill them, you want to make sure you only fill them 3/4 of the way full. You don't want to overfill them. And let the sponge absorb the ink before you start printing. So I fill it, usually wait like an hour, I think I said that in the video, and then start to print. With these cartridges, you can only refill them 3 times before they go bad. Don't put it past 3 times. The sponge can dry out and it can mess with your printer, and it's just better to toss it after you fill it 3 times and get new cartridges. What else did I want to say about this? When you have an edible printer, you always want to print at least once a week to keep the ink moving through the system, or else it's going to dry out. This is edible ink. It's not the same as a regular printer. So what I do, I have this Trolls picture that has every color in the rainbow, and I also have, because I'm obsessed with Friends, this Friends photo that has the Friends picture frame and some black in it. So when I print this every week, it's going to print every single color. I don't know if that matters, but I just feel better about myself, so I print this every week. I saw that I needed to replace the ink because the black in this picture, it's like really faded and spotty. So I knew I had to refill the ink cartridges when I saw that this black was faded. You want to make sure that you print at least once a week. I had another printer and I made the mistake of not doing it for a couple weeks, and the printer head got all messed up. I couldn't unclog it, and I had to buy a whole new printer. You can't buy a printer head that has been used with regular ink. It all has to be brand new, never used with other ink, because it's edible and you are people might eat it. So if you clog your printer head, you are probably going to have to buy a whole new printer. Awesome. It was good times, but hey, you learn from your mistakes, right? So, yeah, I think that's, and you also always want to have extra on hand. So keep an extra pack of the cartridges, keep the refills, keep the cleaning liquid. I have tons of the paper, because you never know, the icing sheets, you never know when you're going to run out. And although they do deliver pretty fast, like sometimes you need you need to print right away and you can't wait for it. So you just always want to have extra on hand. So I will link Icing images below. I'm not sponsored by them or anything. I just really love their products, and I think you guys will too. I did post another video on how I use edible images. I can also link that for you. So I really can't think of anything else to say about this. If you have any questions, leave them below. I will get back to you as soon as I can. And like always, please like this video if you liked it. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already and you want to see more videos like this. I don't know why I had to just had a brain fart there for a second. And you can follow me on social media. I am on Facebook and Instagram, and I have my website. I will link all of that below. Thank you so much for watching the video, and I will see you on the next one. Bye!